AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood, Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Heather Dinich in 15 minutes. Shay Dixon coming up in hour number 2. Ross Jackson will be here in hour 3. Ton to do. Let us begin as we sing. Never do. Nope. Oh, by the way, it's a hump day. I was going to get there.
You are, but it's okay.
No, I did. I knew I was going to get there in a circuitous way.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Let's hump, everybody.
Hump day.
Nick Saban was in Congress today.
It's hump day.
Big changes coming.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Yeah, not likely.
Hump day.
Alvin Kamara was at OTAs today.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
He Forrest Gumped it.
Hump day.
I just felt like going.
It's hump day.
Well, you'll hear that in a minute.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
LSU baseball got some portal visitors.
Hump day.
We'll tell you who.
It's hump day.
NBA finals get underway.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Basketball Tigers going to be playing in Houston.
Hump day.
College football in Brazil.
It's hump day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, we got a lot to do, so let's get cranking here. Let us begin as we do every single day.
FR with the Bud Light.
Let's try it again.
It's time to pop the top.
Here we go. Let's try it again. Let's begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with the Bud Light. Drink easy.
So the Saints had OTAs with media availability, and I'll be darned, Alvin Kamara showed up, and afterwards, Alvin Kamara told the reporters in attendance when he made the decision to show up.
Like I said, I was literally just laying in the bed, and I was like, I'll go tomorrow. I called my mom. I was talking to my daughter. She was like, what you doing? I said, I think I'm going to go to my other job. And she was like, you going to go to work? I was like, yeah, work. So, like, you going to play football? I'm like, yeah, football. So I just decided to come in, man.
Alvin Kamara was like, yeah, just laying in bed, figured I'd go. It's like Forrest Gump. I just felt like running. I mean, okay. Maybe AK's out here just trolling all of us. But if you're not familiar, the Saints several months ago restructured Alvin Kamara's contract. I could go into the deep dive nitty-gritty of the whole thing. I would highly recommend if you're interested in that. Ross Jackson did an incredible job. This says it was 88 days ago. Did an incredible job at LouisianaSports.net explaining in great detail the rarely used CBA rule that the Saints used to restructure Alvin Kamara's deal. Effectively, they save $8 million, and it eliminates any financial penalty if, in fact, Kamara is not on the team. Again, I'm not going to deep dive into it. You can go read it. It's free at LouisianaSports.net. But suffice to say, the Saints effectively, they didn't kick Kamara out, but what they did was they opened the door and put their foot right on his backside. And if they want to push, they can. They don't have to, but they can, is effectively what happened. So inquiring minds would look and say, well, why would you open the door and put your foot on his backside if you didn't intend to push? They've left themselves the option to do so if they want to. But Kamara, who usually does not show up for OTAs, showed up today. Now, he said he's just laying in bed and felt like coming. I don't know if I'm fully believing that. But Kellen Moore was asked, this is to Muse, if Alvin being present signifies the end of this saga and that he's going to be back.
I don't know the business contractual side of this thing. I don't think necessarily anything's been done there, but it was good to see him. Obviously a lot of times this time of year he's not always here, and so similar to last year. But it was good to see him, and excited to kind of spend a little bit of time talking with him and just kind of seeing where he's all at.
That is not exactly the vote of confidence you might be hoping to hear if you want Alvin Kamara back. When the coach is asked, "Hey, does this mean he's back?" I don't know the whole contractual side. He's usually not here. I'm glad he is. Not exactly what you're thinking you might or hoping you might hear. Now, for whatever it's worth, Alvin Kamara did talk about this, and he was asked if he felt disrespected by the Saints with the way they're handling this.
I've been through a lot in my life, man. I've learned not to take things personal. Man, I'm blessed. Like, it is what it is. We're in a business that's unique to a lot of spaces in the world, and like I said, it's a business. So it's a business both ways, on the team side and on the player side. I always try to tell young dudes, anybody, when they ask me about how I navigate some of this stuff, it's like, man, you gotta treat it like a business. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get caught off guard. So nothing catches me off guard, man. I'm just, like I said, when you kind of just focus on you and what you got to do and let God handle the rest of the things that aren't in your control, it happens how it's supposed to happen.
A lot of background noise there, a little hard to hear, but I think you got the gist of what Alvin Kamara was saying there. So he's got the right attitude about it. Alvin's always been a good teammate. He's been a great representative of the organization, and I think we all know that when his day comes, he'll be in the Saints Hall of Fame. He'll be in the Saints Ring of Honor. He holds the career touchdown mark, the rushing mark. He's one of the greatest Saints in the history of the organization. But it's true in this business that everybody's day comes to an end, and the Saints, with a total regime change and an aging, declining player, are very possibly looking to move on, and certainly signing Travis Etienne to a $54 million contract this offseason is a pretty clear indicator of where they're expecting to go. Now, the other thing, though, that is notable, in his media availability on Wednesday, Kellen Moore did speak specifically about the need to improve in the running game.
We got to run the football better. We've spent a lot of time talking about it, but also trying to focus on ways that we can improve, whether it's schematically, personnel, all that fun stuff. It's an important aspect. You got to be able to control the line of scrimmages. That's where so much of this football game is, at the end of the day, won. And, when you can run the football and have the threat of running the football, it allows so many other things to kind of come off of it. But, it's the ability to run, but also the threat to run. If you're not running the ball well enough, people can make it challenging for you on the back end.
Okay, roll up your sleeves a little bit on that one, okay? And this is why you could see the Saints organizationally very clearly made a strong investment in that specifically, the need and willingness to improve in running the football. Last year, the New Orleans Saints were 28th in the NFL in rushing offense. There are 32 teams. I'm not good at math. That means there's only 4 teams that were worse at running the football than the New Orleans Saints. Cincinnati, Tennessee, Arizona, and the Raiders. And by the way, all those teams stunk too. If you don't run the football, you're not going to be a good NFL team. That's pretty much how it works. Oh, by the way, the team that was dead last in rushing was the Raiders, who drafted Ashton Genty. Did they draft him pretty high? They used a high pick on him,
Yeah,
right?
they did top 5 pick.
Yeah, no doubt. So, don't use top 5 picks on running backs, idiots. Way more pressing matters on your team. Everybody wanted the Saints to draft that kid on Notre Dame. What are you talking about? Anyway, point being, Saints were 28th in rushing offense. They go sign Travis Etienne. They go get a young, veteran, perennial 1,000-yard rusher to fortify and strengthen that position. Then you look at the offensive line. Went and checked the PFF run grades for the guards on the Saints team last year. Torricelli Simpkins led all interior offensive linemen for the Saints in run blocking with a grade of 59.6. That was 72nd in the NFL among guards. Dylan Raduns, his grade was a 49. He was 113th. And the guy that's a former first-round pick, Cesar Ruiz, was 122nd in the NFL among guards in run blocking grade at a 44.7. Your guards stunk. Your running back's old and hurt. Your coach is saying, we got to be better at running the football because you were 28th in the NFL at doing so. Better, by the way, than the team that used a top 5 pick on a running back, right? Because you have to use top 5 pick on a running back to be good at running the football, right? Anyway, you go add David Edwards, high-priced free agent. You draft Jeremiah Wright from Auburn to push Cesar Ruiz. You add Travis Etienne. They have very clearly invested draft, free agent, financial capital in being better at running the football. And my opinion is Alvin Kamara very clearly sees that and cannot afford to let time slip away because he has to make this roster. I don't think the Saints are just kicking him out, but they have positioned themselves to be able to do so if any of the other running backs after Travis Etienne play well. If Kendre Miller coming off of injury or Devin Neal also coming off injury, 6th-round pick from a year ago. If any of the other backs perform well, now they have an open door to move on from Kamara. Kamara needs to earn his roster spot this year. It's not given to him. So, yeah, I think that's why he's there today for OTAs for the first time in 3 years. We'll talk plenty more about OTAs as we move throughout the show today. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us. Our show open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU. Remember, our live sports locally are done until LSU and Clemson week 1 in Tiger Stadium. But summer's here. Pool season is here. Our national pastime, Major League Baseball season is upon us. If you're hitting the road, you're going to be at ballparks, maybe we're in Houston or wherever you may be this year and this summer. Make sure you enjoy it all with delicious, easy drinking Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of your Fighting Tigers of LSU, the official beer of the Saints. Okay, it's After Further Review. Got a ton to do. Taylor Calandro's here at the end of this hour for Bourbon Dictionary. We will talk to Shea Dixon. We missed him yesterday. Shea had a conflict, so he's joining us today. Normally in hour 1, Shea's going to bump to hour 2 because when we come back, we're going to talk to Heather Dinich of ESPN, national college football writer, covers the college football playoff. And we really had intended to visit with Heather today because she was at all the spring meetings last week. Well, today she also happened to be in D.C. because Nick Saban and others testified before Congress today on the Protect College Sports Act. So we'll certainly get some perspective from Heather Dinich on that as well as she's in D.C. So when I got a quick break, we'll continue here on a Hump Day edition of AFR.
AFR.
And our Wednesday shows are always brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. We always tell you about hormone replacement therapy, but the thing that is all the rage right now are peptides. And we've talked about peptides here for quite literally years. I've had tremendous success with things like BPC 157, Body Protection Compound 157. You've probably heard of it. Helps for injury recovery, muscle and tissue repair. If you're battling through an injury, you want to accelerate recovery, BPC 157 can be great. It's done wonders for my back. NAD Plus for cellular optimization. Sermorelin to help stimulate your body's natural production of growth hormone, help you sleep better, build muscle, have more mental clarity. You want to feel like you did when you were younger, have your body function at its optimal level. You can do it, and our friends at Goodwood can help. Lowest prices, never any contracts. I'm going to say that again. Lowest prices, never any contracts. yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
After Further Review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
I think the current system that we have in college athletics right now makes it more and more difficult to do these things. We've moved away from development to focusing on money and not life skills.
Nick Saban testified before Congress today. Heather Dinich, ESPN college football and college football playoff reporter, senior writer, was there. She's joined us now. Heather, we appreciate the time. How are you?
I'm good. I would love to be on a football field instead
Right.
of Capitol Hill, but here we are. This is the job these days.
Hey, last time you were here, we were talking football, and it was during the playoffs, and we tried to give you a nickname, like Joe Lenardi is Joey Brackets, and I think we landed on, like, CFB Denny or Denny Brackets. There was a few we threw out there. Muse, did we have a good one we landed on? Did we agree on one?
I think Denny Brackets was the one that we
Did you like
we
that
did.
one, Heather? Did you like Denny Brackets?
Listen, I defer to you guys.
All right,
Like
fair
Denny? I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, what's your last name? If you're going Joey, we're looking for Denny,
That's true.
right?
Right.
That
right.
was-
I understand.
Yeah, we'll workshop it more. We've got time.
Okay.
Was there a? I think a lot of people have probably seen the clips by now, but was there a highlight moment in DC today?
I think Nick Saban was the highlight moment. I mean, if you want the temperature of the room, it was a bunch of college interns, a lot who came from SEC schools who were interning in the Senate and were there to see the show. I mean, the room was packed, and it was there. People in the room on Capitol Hill and in the Senate were excited to talk about college sports. And I think there's a genuine passion. It is true that it is one of the few things in this country that unites everyone, and everyone is trying to fix it. And there was a sense of urgency and a plea from Saban and Pete Bavacqua and Teresa Gould, the Pac-12 commissioner, to get some federal legislation. And there was support for this particular bill. But at the same time, there's some pushback on some things. And we saw less than 24 hours before this hearing happened, the SEC and the Big Ten say, whoa, we can't support this bill as written. So what's going to happen now is they're going to go back. They're going to do some more work. They're going to try to come up with a solution to have everybody equally uncomfortable and see if everyone can live with it.
What a dismount. That was so good. Okay. In your opinion, as someone who covers this sport closely, is federal law, based on the people you've spoken with, is federal law realistic?
It's, having covered this for a really long time, it's more realistic than it has been, but it is still a Mount Everest to climb, because you do have to get 60 votes in the Senate, and then you have to get the House to come along, and you have to do this very quickly, because the Senate goes in recess in August, and if you don't have this figured out by then, there's going to be, it's an election year, and things can change. And you also have this subplot of the SEC presidents and chancellors on a parallel timeline saying, if we can't get federal legislation by the end of this summer, we need to determine what path we want to go on. And if we can create our own rules, see how many other conferences would want to follow us. So this is on a fast track. This is going to be a big summer in terms of these continued conversations.
It's funny, when we booked this with you, Heather, we were looking to recap last week with the spring meetings. It just fell that you landed in D.C. today. So there's a lot I want to cover, but one more follow-up. As best you can tell, what are the biggest hurdles to getting federal legislation passed?
Well, I think that depends on who you ask, because everyone's coming at it from a different angle, right? The SEC presidents and chancellors came out of Destin and stated very clearly, we do not agree with pooling media rights. We want to control our own games on the networks that we have and how we want to do it, right? Ted Cruz made it very clear that that is optional in this particular legislation. Another big sticking point, depending on who you ask, is the fact that this bill does not talk about student-athlete employment. And I asked Ted Cruz about that this week, and he said he would have liked more language on it, but this was a very distinct compromise between Republicans and Democrats with he and Cantwell to get this out there and get this done. So there are going to be people, and senators in particular, who want to see a clearer line drawn in the sand over athlete employment. Are they or are they not going to be? But those are some of the things. And Pete Bavacqua, Notre Dame's athletic director, talked today about how he would like to see more specific language directed towards the protection of Olympic sports. So there are a lot of different angles people are coming at it with different agendas.
Yeah. Figuring out how to prioritize those things would be really interesting. Now, you mentioned being at spring meetings. If federal legislation doesn't get passed, Heather, as best you can tell, going across the country, talking to all these, either be it ADs or commissioners, what is the alternative? I don't like that response.
So what is the alternative to that? If I had the answer to that, I would be making NCAA president money and running Indianapolis like nobody's business, because that's the $1 million question, right? Is what do you do if the government doesn't help? They have to bail out themselves. But the key to answering that is coming up with rules that are two things. One, legally defensible in court. Good luck without antitrust protection, right? And also enforceable. And the College Sports Commission is trying to enforce these rules for NIL. And you have coaches who are saying, look, people aren't even submitting their NIL deals. And the ones that are getting submitted are being rejected. And Brian Seeley, the guy who's in charge of this, and he calls it a startup business, which it truly is like, hey, all we are doing is enforcing the rules that you gave us. And he's absolutely right in that regard. He said, you want to change the rules? Change the rules. We'll enforce whatever you give us. But we're doing what you told us to right now. So that's where it gets really complicated in answering, what do you do if the government doesn't help? Well, you have to figure out what you can do that you can defend in court. That's the bottom line.
Heather Dinich is with us for a couple more minutes. You can follow her at CFB. Heather, of course, ESPN senior writer, college football reporter, college football playoff. Heather, speaking of the playoff, obviously that was a massive topic last week for the SEC and all the leagues. Do you feel like 24 is an inevitability?
Not necessarily. I think it's fair to say playoff expansion is an inevitability, whether it's 16 or 24. But Greg Sankey is not afraid for his conference to be the only one pushing back on this, because you have to have the Big Ten and the SEC agree on this in order for it to happen. So it certainly wouldn't surprise me if it stayed at 12 either. But Sankey said that their timeline for making a decision on that is probably this fall. So, there's so many weighty issues facing college athletics right now. And as you sit here through this 2.5-hour hearing on all of these other things, it's also like, oh yeah. And then there's the playoff, which is tangled up in all of it. And that revenue as well, right? So I think the big question as far as the playoff number that the presidents and chancellors want to know is, if they go to 24, will the revenue from TV compensate for the loss of their conference championship games? And no one, not Tony Petitti or Greg Sankey, has the answer to that right this second.
Why not?
Because they don't have any numbers or models from the television consultants yet, or any television partners. No one has presented them yet with numbers that say, if you do this, you'll get X, Y, and Z, right? So I think those things are coming. I know that they're working on it, but as of spring meetings, nobody had that information.
Heather, I got a couple of more. You cover all these people so closely, so you have a good read on them, talking to them both on and off the record. This is cut out of left field. I'm just curious your thoughts. Do you think Greg Sankey's pushback is just, or maybe part of it is just not wanting to lose?
Is not wanting to lose? Is that what you said?
Yeah. He wants 16, and for so long, whatever the SEC has wanted, it's gotten. And it looks like it's not going to go their way in this instance. And is it just being a stubborn unwillingness to bend? I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I know the commissioner, professionally somewhat, but certainly not enough to know the answer to that question. I'm just curious if this is the SEC through the commissioner planting its flag in the ground, saying, no, we're still the top dog, and what we want, we're going to get.
Well, I think the SEC commissioner absolutely planted the flag around and said, we're still the top dog, when he said last week that we are still by far the best conference, regardless of the Big Ten winning the national championship the past 3 seasons and going 4-0 against the SEC in CFP playoff games over the last 3 years. He basically shrugged that off and said, we are still the best, the deepest conference. But I do believe that Greg Sankey, given his background and the way he came up through the ranks, does truly care about the players and college athletics as a whole. I do think he's more willing than ever to listen to his constituents who are interested in a 2014 playoff. He has not ruled that out, and he made that very clear. But he also isn't ready to make a knee-jerk reaction without all of the information.
Heather Dinich, before you go, I got to ask you about Lane Kiffin. I know you were in the press conference with him last week. He shrugged off your question. I'm just curious your thoughts on Lane. Let me just leave it very open-ended for you. Lane Kiffin going into year 1 at LSU. Go.
I love this. I love this offseason storyline. I love the drama and the spitballs between Ole Miss and LSU. This is the best thing. This is what my soul needs when we're talking about all these other things. And this is college football in the SEC at its finest. And I'm going to come to that Clemson game, and I'm not going to be able to go to the LSU Ole Miss game because it's just easier for me to do my job in a different way at home, watching all the games. But listen, these two guys are going to give us storylines all season long, and I'm in the front row for it. I can't wait. I love it. Bring it.
When you're here for Clemson, we'll connect. We'll have you in studio. We'll formally present you with your nickname, whatever. We'll decide. We'll have a jersey made, something. All right. We'll do that when you're here.
Let's do it. Let's do it. It'll be so fun.
She's Heather Dinich at CFB. Heather, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
You know, that's going to be my first LSU night game. That's a bucket list check. I just want you to know that.
Ever?
Ever.
How is that possible?
Right?
No, I'm serious. I guess ESPN gives you your assignments, or do you get to choose?
It's a combination of both, but it's just how it's landed. It's just I have no explanation for it, but I'm super excited. So we definitely have to celebrate that.
Heather, so that's going to be. I say this often. Tiger Stadium is like a lot of other places where, you get a subpar opponent, a bad kick time, people it can be blah, like some will be. At its best, it is the best big game environment you'll ever see. And that is going to be a madhouse for Lane Kiffin's debut. Like, you picked the right one.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. It's going to be so fun. This is why I do what I do.
Let's go. All right, we'll see you in September, CFB Dinny. Maybe no.
Sounds good, guys.
All right. Thanks. We're workshopping it. We're workshopping. Thank you, Heather. We appreciate it.
All right.
Bye,
guys.
That's Heather Dinich at CFB Heather, if you want to give her a follow. We got to get her to change her handle then. From CFB Heather to CFP Dinny.
Huh.
If we gotta. I think we did a Twitter poll on this as well.
I think, and we'd have to dig that up. Yeah.
And by we, you.
Yeah.
That's why you're here.
I mean, that's implied.
Yep.
Yeah,
yes.
For
so
sure.
let's find that. If you got other recommendations, we could ask ChatGPT.
I think we did that.
Probably did. Let's be honest. We're not creative enough to come up with it on our own. Maybe we asked the text line.
Maybe that's what we did.
That probably didn't go well.
We probably did all the above. Twitter poll, chat, text line, probably just all of it.
I know. All right. We'll grab a quick break. Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes. We'll do Around the SEC next.
AFR.
If you're thinking of putting in a pool, you got to call my buddy Derek Duplessis over at Duplessis Pools. I always say how they have all of their pools are Instagrammable, if that's a word. And there's so many pool companies that'll build you a beautiful custom pool. You see the pictures on Instagram, it looks awesome. That's the same for Duplessis Pools, but that's true for so many. The difference with Duplessis Pools is the quality. And that's not just a throwaway line. The industry standard for pool builders is they will give you a 1-year workmanship warranty. They will warranty their work for 1 year. Derek Duplessis, who I've told you before is a mechanical engineer by trade, worked as a mechanical engineer before transitioning into owning his own pool company. He offers a 10-year workmanship warranty. He stands behind the beautiful work he builds. DuplessisPools.com. If you're thinking of putting in a pool, call Duplessis Pools. DuplessisPools.com. We are so thrilled to welcome Proform Steel to the AFR family. If you are thinking of building a steel building, a shed in your backyard, any size for a commercial or industrial facility, you want the best, you want Proform Steel. If you know anything about the steel industry in our market, you know Brandon Golson. Had lunch with Brandon yesterday. Awesome dude. And I could not be more excited to welcome Proform Steel to the AFR family. Look, the bottom line is there's so many ways that Proform Steel differentiates themselves. Lead time. For a commercial industrial building, they carry a 10-week lead time when most 16 to 20 weeks. You want it done faster, done right. Doesn't matter if it's that shed in your backyard or a giant industrial facility. Proform Steel. 647-3110, 647-3110.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
College football was supposed to be headed to Brazil this year. That's not going to happen now. NC State and Virginia were going to play a game in Brazil this season. That now has been moved back on campus to Virginia. It would have been the first college football game in South America. It was going to be in Rio. They've now announced through the ACC via news release, citing extensive review with operational partners and international stakeholders, that the game, which was set for August 29th, week 0, is now going to be moved to Virginia. They're working with ESPN and the NCAA to keep the game on the scheduled date. But remember, part of the reason why the NCAA rules allow a week 0 game is if you are playing internationally. So like we've seen that game, which has kind of become customary in Ireland to start the season. Or if you're playing a game in Hawaii, you could play a week 0 game to allow for the travel considerations. So with that game now no longer in Brazil, they're going to need NCAA approval to play that game on campus in week 0. So we'll see what they allow here. The NC State, won last year's matchup in that home and home series. And the Rio game was set to replace Virginia's home game in Charlottesville. Now it's going back. So NC State and UVA will move that game to Charlottesville, which was scheduled for Brazil in week 0. Hopefully it's week 0. I mean, we all love to watch. We're all jonesing for football by the time we get to the end of August, and you get an ACC matchup there. Yeah, you're very much going to be on par with it. That was in conjunction with the schools or the ACC moving to a 9-game league schedule. So it was part of the first home and home with these schools as part of the 9-game league schedule. So in any event, we'll keep you posted if that does stay week 0, which I think we're all hoping it is, but it won't be in Brazil. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Y'all know I've driven Volkswagens for the last 15 years. And I literally got a call yesterday from Volkswagen. I do a 3-year lease, and then I get a new car every 3 years through Volkswagen. And my lease on my current Volkswagen Crossport, which I've had since 2023, is up, and I got to trade in my vehicle on the 14th of this month. So in 11 days, within the next 11 days, I'll have a new Volkswagen to tell you about. I'm excited about it. The one change I'll probably make is I'll probably get the SEL. That's the select package. A few more bells and whistles. Whatever, I'll treat myself. But no matter what you're looking for, if it's the sedan, the midsize, compact, or full-size SUV, South Point Volkswagen line, they have a vehicle that will meet exactly what it is that you're looking for. You get the style, feel, performance of luxury without the cost, and with the 9 different IIHS top safety picks, you know you're driving one of the safest vehicles on the road, and manufactured right here in the good old US of A at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant. It's South Point Volkswagen. southpointvw.com, South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference.
Texas A&M.
Aggies got a commit from linebacker Frederick Ards for the 2027 class. 6'5", 220. That's a big linebacker, man. The number 6 outside linebacker in the country. The number 64 overall prospect. Picked A&M over Florida, Florida State, Alabama, and South Carolina.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn got a commit from 4-star linebacker Isaac McNeil. He's out of Pritchard, Alabama. He's the number 3 recruit in the state. Had offers from Georgia, Bama, Florida, among others. Those were his finalists. He joins fellow 4-star linebacker Kareem Palmer in Auburn's class. He's the number 7 linebacker in the country, number 103 overall.
The Florida Gators.
Defensive lineman Zamar Tukes has committed to Florida. He's a 3-star. Just wrapped up an official visit to Gainesville. Florida beat out Georgia, Penn State, and Nebraska for his commitment. He's the 68th best defensive lineman in the country. Florida now has 19 commits for the 2027 class.
The Missouri Tigers.
Mizzou freshman offensive lineman Brandon Anderson is no longer on the Mizzou roster. Mizzou today had it first. They confirmed with a source inside the Missouri program. No reason given. He's a former 3-star, class of 2026. He was the number 528 overall player in the country, but after one season in Como, he gone.
The Texas Longhorns.
And the Longhorns have landed their first transfer portal addition in this portal class. Texas Tech infielder Lincoln Garcia. He signed with the Longhorns. 6'5", 218. He's got 3 seasons of eligibility remaining, but will be eligible for the 2027 draft as a draft-eligible sophomore. Started 55 games for the Red Raiders in Lubbock this season. 30 games at shortstop, 25 at third base. Hit .338 with 4 bombs. He was freshman all Big 12. Lincoln Garcia heading from Lubbock to Austin. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Lowest prices, never any contracts. Visit yourgoodwood.com. Yourgoodwood.com. All right, it's after further review. A lot of recruiting news there, as June is a massive month on the recruiting calendar. A lot of official visits, a lot of camps that take place before you get into July, leading up to media days, and then obviously with the fall camp beginning. So 3 straight weekends of official visits. Shea Dixon, who's normally with us on Tuesday, had to bump to today. So we're going to talk to Shea in 30 minutes from right now. And the Tigers have welcomed another massive interior defensive line prospect from the state of Mississippi on an official visit literally right now. As a matter of fact, was texting with my buddy Shelly over at Ruffino's, and there's the restaurant rotation where whenever they have these the official visits in, where they take me to obviously Supper Club. We're great partners with Supper Club and Stabs and Ruffino's taking. Well, Mitchell Turner, the defensive lineman from Mississippi, was at Ruffino's last night. Kevin Peoples was there. Coach O was there. So LSU's pushing hard for another big interior defensive lineman, and now they're in the mix for another 5-star edge. I've shared it's my theory. I'm sharing it with you, and again, it's just my theory based on the evidence we're seeing. To me, it is very clear Lane Kiffin and his staff, Billy Glasscock, the GM, are showing all of us where they are willing to invest top dollar in high school prospects. And it is very clear the emphasis they are putting on the defensive line. Richard Anderson, Lamar Brown, Deuce Gerald. Look at the visitors they had in this weekend. You've already got a 5-star and Jaden Bryant committed. Like, they are willing to spend on high school defensive line prospects that they think can come in and make an immediate impact. So got a few more on campus now and coming this weekend. We'll talk about that with Shea 30 minutes from right now. Okay, let me knock out a quick break. Come back. Taylor Calandro's here for Bourbon Dictionary to wrap up hour number 1.
After further review.
It's hot, y'all. That is undeniable. You walk outside like you got wrapped in a blanket with that humidity. It's here. It's 82 degrees in Baton Rouge right now. Have you done it yet? Have you had your AC tune-up from River City's 1 Hour Air? If you haven't, it's not too late. Get it done. If you can't remember the last time you did this, you're past due, because you should do this literally every year. If you want to extend the life of your unit, This is the standard seasonal maintenance. This is no different than getting an oil change for your car. Same concept. You don't want the thing to burn up. You want it to run long. You got to make sure you're doing your standard maintenance. This is standard maintenance for your HVAC. You should do it literally every single year. And if you're part of their membership club, they will call you when it's time for your tune-up, and the AC tune-up and the heater safety check. Those are complimentary for Maintenance Club members. River City's 1 hour air, 752-0001.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Wrapping up hour number 1. Get your booze questions in. You can email us, tweet us, or text us. 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Taylor Calandro's here. Yo, dude.
Yo, what's up, man? How are you?
I'd be doing better if you told me you had an E.H. Taylor 4-grain.
LOL, no.
I know. Did we talk about that last week, or did you and I just talk about that off air?
You texted me about it, I think, after the fact, asking me about the 4-grain and if it was going to be available, and I told you I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought it was distillery only. So
no, they've announced that it limited release in Kentucky and Louisiana.
Kentucky and Louisiana.
Yeah.
I did read that. There's so much stuff swimming through my brain. I did see that. It was Kentucky and Louisiana, but I haven't heard anything. So, but I did see that, and I did hear about that. But and I don't know why it's just our two markets, but.
I don't know either. 4-grain I probably haven't had in well, actually, why don't you explain to people what E.H. Taylor 4-grain is?
Well, 4-grain utilizes 4 grains. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's the base. The 4-grain was a special release. I can't remember, a few years ago.
Oh, it's been longer than that, man. I mean, I haven't had 4-grain probably since 2018, 2019, somewhere in there.
Okay, well, time flies.
Yeah.
So it was just one of their special annual releases that they do every year. But yeah, it's 4 different grains, and I can't remember how old it is exactly, but it's a bottle and bond bottle too. I think it's 100 proof.
Yep.
Along with that, what I was reading, and I don't know if this is getting released in the distribution, but the cured oak too.
Yep.
Is that going for Louisiana and Kentucky as well?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know I think that was in the same release, the cured oak and the 4-grain. So
cured oak was probably, that was a special release, I don't know, 12 years ago, 11 years ago. I got a bottle of it, and that's one of the best American whiskeys I've ever had.
It's amazing, yeah. You wonder why they stopped making it. Anything new?
I mean, like, we got 2 bottles of it that year. So it wasn't like just plentiful floating around. Yeah. Anyway.
What's new?
Well, speaking of Buffalo Trace, we do have an old charter finest oak. If you're they've been doing Buffalo Trace been doing a little experimental thing, kind of similar to Maker's Mark. It feels like with these old charters, they just different wood finish bourbons. This one's just, I think it's just stave finished like with regular oak that's been weathered outside. From what I've read, it is fantastic. I haven't got to try it yet. It's $100, but it's got Eagle Rare qualities, and I think it's the same mash bill too. It doesn't have an age statement, but I've heard like Eagle Rare-ish. Okay. I haven't got to try it though.
All right,
it's an interesting thing. I've had they've done some weird finishes with that. The first couple, I think one of them was a chinkapin finish. Have you ever heard of chinkapin?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever heard it finished anything. So anyway, sorry. This is more of a standard regular oak finish.
All good, man. Let's get a few questions in. Taylor Calandro is with us. Here's one from Eric. Ask Taylor, is the price of Blanton's really up to $105 these days? Been a while since I've seen it available.
No, I don't think it's. Well, I mean, because we haven't gotten it in a while. It's probably in the $90 range now. 105 is almost the high end, but it's not far off, unfortunately.
Yeah. Alex asked Taylor, what's the drink of choice if Matt is buying?
The most expensive thing on the menu because he can afford it.
Oh, it depends, all right? Because you can roll into some places and, well, I mean, there's what is the most, you told me this once before. What's the most expensive thing you've ever tried? It was some scotch you told me. I forgot what it was though.
Balvenie 50 year.
50 year.
It starts retail. There's a few bottles open in the country, but I think back then it started at retail around $40,000
for the bottle.
Yeah, for a fifth.
Yeah, I mean,
750 milliliter.
And so now, if you're buying an ounce of that somewhere, you figure they're at least going to make they're going to try to 7x the bottle.
I think Vegas had it for somewhere in Vegas had a shot of it available. But I don't know how much it was. I can't imagine Vegas price, but I would say probably around $7,000-8,000 a shot.
No doubt. Like all right, ask Taylor, is Booker's 2026-01 worth grabbing?
I like all the Bookers. I mean, they're all varied a little bit, but I mean, I'm a Booker's guy. I like big, full-flavored bourbon, and Booker's is one of my favorites. So, and that's what it is. And so, yeah, I like all the Bookers. There's not been a Booker's batch. And I haven't tried all of them, but there hasn't been a Booker's batch that I've tried and like turned my nose up to it. So if you're into that,
he's Taylor Calandro from Calandro's right down the street from us here on Government Street. Pop on in and tell him hello and buy some booze. Thank you, dude.
See you, Matt.
All right, man. We'll see you. It's after further review. Sports Center's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. Got a LSU transfer portal baseball stuff to get to right after Sports Center.
After further review.
Man, speaking of. You want the great experience with the high-end booze? Supper Club has plenty of that, if you want it. I mean, they have some of the rarest whiskeys, and they have curated one of the great whiskey selections you'll find quite literally anywhere. So you can pop on into Supper Club and try a rare whiskey. Their wine library is incredible. Everything you can imagine, from the great American wines that you love, from all these different vintages and different vineyards all over the world. They've done an incredible job with everything. And then, of course, the menu is just unmatched. And it doesn't matter. I mean, if you're going to buy steak and you want to have that amazing steak experience, you absolutely can. From the bone-in filet, of course, your prime filet and ribeye, to all the Sagrera cuts, the Omi beef. It's just amazing. If you want to have the most incredible dining experience of your life, you got to get by Supper Club right there on Perkins Road near Bluebonnet. SupperClubBTR.com.